stop thinking about it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Yes Go. This is your host, Coach A.M. Williams, and I am excited to have you here with me today. I'm excited to have you here with me this year. You know why? Because I firmly believe this is your year. This is the year where you're going to get out of your head. You're going to stop questioning yourself into action, and that's what Yes Go was all about. You see, because it's not about a perfect journey. It's not about doing everything perfect, not about knowing everything. It's about having a willingness to follow your desires and step forth and take massive action and exercise courage in the face of adversity so that you can go on and do something completely amazing. And my guest today is no different. Alyson Silverman is the go-to real estate expert for Los Angeles and Ventura counties, where her team of agents regularly close multi 6 and 7 figure homes and delight homeowners along the way. She runs a top producing firms of realtors who absolutely love what they do because their heart is in it. She does regular workshops and seminars with Keller Williams, other high performance firms, and she is an expert brand for stations like HGTV and our own Yes Go. She contributes to radio outlets in the Los Angeles metropolitan area and beyond on a regular basis. And it is a privilege and pleasure to have with us today Alyson Silverman. Alyson, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Now, Alyson, Yes Go differs from a lot of shows because we don't go with the standard status quo, blase commentary. What we like to do is show our audience a side of entrepreneurship that they don't get anywhere else. And so what we like to do is to find out about this. What brought you, what was your Yes Go moment? How did things happen for you? And what was it like when you were going through that phase of getting started, how you navigated, and ultimately what is behind, what's on the other side of that success? So I'm excited to get into all of those things with you, but let's just take a moment, back up and get started, and let's tell everybody about Alyson. Alyson, introduce yourself to the Yes Go world.
Well, I live in Thousand Oaks. We sell in Los Angeles and Ventura counties. My office is in Calabasas. We have a team, the Silverman Group, and amazing agents. They just go above and beyond, including myself. We love the live interaction with people. So we love sitting open houses. We have a mega open house formula that we use. We just enjoy helping people. It lights us up.
Excellent. One of the things when we were talking in our production meeting, Alyson, we were talking about, like there's a ton of people out there that, sell real estate and they're brokers and, they're doing things. And it's, you guys considered the go-to experts for real estate in your respective counties. What separates you from all of the other real estate firms in your area?
In addition to doing luxury, we do first-time homeowners and seniors. Giving a first-time homeowner a key to their home, it's almost a high, that you can't get. It's better than the commission. Someone that didn't think that they could buy a home, when you give them their key, it's amazing. I went to a baby shower last weekend from a homeowner that we put in their home about a year ago. And I said, "Oh my God, you're like the cutest pregnant woman." And she said, "Alyson, we would never have been able to start a family if you hadn't put us in a home." And
that is amazing.
It is. I mean, it was so heartwarming. And it just, and helping a senior, they're adorable. They're not in a hurry. They have these cute little stories. They have, some sage advice to give you. I feel like we're protecting them. We really enjoy doing that. So while we're, in luxury as well, we don't want to let go of our beautiful people that we have that we help every day. So I think that's what separates us, is that we really love helping people.
And we're really going to get into that today, because when we start addressing that particular niche of what it is that you do, we came upon something that you had brought up in the whole process of what you guys do. Your own way that you guys do something that literally we're still talking about today, even before we started the show. And I can't wait to give people a chance to really hear more about that. But that's just some more secret sauce stuff that we'll get into in just a little bit. So now that we understand what it is that you do and what your firm does, and you talked about the dynamic of home buying and understanding just how precious it is the first moment, or handing the keys over to someone who bought their first home, or to the seniors and things of that nature. What have you noticed to date to be the most interesting case that you have encountered? And I should case, like, you're not an attorney, but when you think about the dynamics of working with a client, what has been the most unique story that you've ever come across?
Wow, there's so many. I sell foreclosures too, so those are some crazy stories there. One foreclosure I went up to was in a senior complex, and she had dementia, and her son was a paranoid schizophrenic, and he was a senior as well, and her husband was dying. And so I went to the bank, because they have to sleep at night as well. And we postponed, we gave them a 90-day period, and we worked with the social workers to get the son, the husband did die in the hospital. And we worked with the social workers to get the son and the mother in care facilities next door to each other. And it took a little longer. Most people probably wouldn't have done that. It was, I went to the door, and she's like, "I love you." And I'm like, "Oh, that's so sweet." She didn't know who I was. She offered to make me Kool-Aid and an egg.
Wow.
And she was adorable. And I really didn't want to, I have to sleep at night too. And so we did what we could to help them. And it took a little longer to sell the property, and I was fine with that. So,
Something that's very interesting right there, and that's the dynamic of, we have to sleep at night too, and it really speaks to the nature of the heart you guys put into a sale. Like, you guys embody heart selling in real estate. It's not just oh, we're so glad that you got the home. It's like, when you go to the extent that you just did, or you just spoke of, to get that person into their home, it speaks to the dynamic of, we understand, like, life, the importance of life behind the deal. It's like behind the deal that you embody in it. And I think that was one of the things that was the most interesting to me about you, was just the heart that you guys put behind the deal that you're doing in real estate.
yeah.
That's a very powerful thing.
There was another one, another foreclosure. This was several years ago, that it was vacated. It was a reverse mortgage, and it was a hoarder situation. So once the bank said that they were going to trash it out, I went in and took everything that was worth anything. It was several truckloads over to Goodwill, and I personally washed about 12 loads of laundry that I found, and donated all that stuff. So, we do I want, to make a difference.
This is super important, and I'm just gonna like it. Audience, this is super important because if you're looking at real estate right now and you're saying look into it, and because it's great money, or I want to get into it because of these things, what she's talking about, she's not the go-to person just because she's the top producer, and she's the go-to person because she has the behind the deal, and it's the heart behind the deal that causes you to be such a great producer. When you put good out, good comes back in. I think that's like a great way to kind of just to sum all of that up. When you put good out, great comes back in. And it's what I call creating win comes from everybody that's involved, right? Like you win, they win, society wins because great business was done. And that's what it's all about, right?
Right.
Well, we're going to stop and take a break right now. What an amazing, just a great way to start the show off. It's just a great feel good thing about what it is that you're doing. When we come back, we're going to talk about your yes go moment. What got you into real estate? What was the circumstances and things surrounding it. And I can't wait to get into that segment. Folks, make sure you come back. Make sure you just stick with us right here on Yes Go. We'll be right back. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Yes Go. I'm your host, Coach A.M. Williams, and I am sitting here with go-to real estate expert, Alyson Silverman. Alyson has just telling us an just amazing story. If you missed the last segment, you definitely want to go back and check out the show when it re-airs on yesgo.live, because it was an amazing piece just to kind of get an idea about the way Alyson does real estate. But we're going to take this moment right now and just talk about what got you started. Like, what was your yes go moment when it came to real estate? Alyson, take a moment and just share with us how this opportunity presented itself to you in your life.
I think I had a lot of great role models from doing foreclosures. A lot of my friends ran these big teams, and I looked up to them, and I thought, from going from a single agent to a team, that's where I need to make my shift so I can do more volume and help more people. And obviously foreclosures have lessened since then. And so I had to reteach myself, reinvent myself and my niche. So it was very scary the first time hiring an assistant. What if you have a slow month and you can't make payroll? That is, then slowly from there, I hired on a full-time buyer's agent, and, you had to learn to communicate with each other because real estate is very emotional. You get tired, you work long hours, and, through trial and error, we've gone through a couple of assistants to get to where we are, and now I have a team. So it didn't just happen overnight. I think the more you think about it, the more you're going to talk yourself out of it. So it was kind of, yes, I need to do it now. Your yes go. And there were a lot of failures. So I would say that I failed forward a lot to get here. And now we have the systems in place to make it happen on a daily basis.
You said a mouth and two hands full right there. But I want to kind of go back and unpack some of that, because that's what really separates, what we do here versus what you get in other places. The dynamic of just stepping out. You said you noticed that there were other people who had these big firms, and you decided you wanted to go from, being a single agent firm to having multiple agents and doing that. And growth, while yet from a distance, it always looks like, oh, yes, that's something I want. It can be very scary.
Yes.
Because you're having to trust on, trust in other people, put your trust in other people to do certain things. And, you mentioned about the assistant, bringing on an assistant and what that was like. If you would take a moment and literally unpack that a bit, the fear, talk about that fear of when you hired hired your first assistant, what was going on in that whole process of just taking on somebody?
First of all, I didn't know how I was going to train her and prospect and and open and close escrows. So, and that happens in a lot of people's heads. How do I hire someone? Because there's a hiring process. How do I train and still run my business? So that was really scary. She was a great assistant. We probably didn't know what we were getting into and how much work there was. And she was a part-time student, so when she started school, there just wasn't enough time for her to do both.
Mm-hmm.
And she had her heart in it as well. So there was a large learning curve that we both didn't expect. And, we both did the best that we could with what we had. Now I see where there's probably areas of improvement. I mean, hindsight is everything, isn't it? And if you don't make the mistake in the first place, how do you learn? I mean, ideally you want to learn from somebody else, but a lot of times, the hard lesson that you will never repeat is the one that you make yourself. So yeah, there were, a lot of struggles. There was a little bit of tears. Unfortunately, I loved her. She was great. Still love her and would do anything in the world for her. She was very young. And again, I think I learned that I can't hire a student. Again, every person I learn from, every interaction I learn from, every transaction I learn from, we're human. We're going to make mistakes. You're going to have failures you learn from. Yeah, it was scary. I'm not going to lie. So,
Yeah. Well, I think the thing that really comes across in what you just shared is the dynamic of experimentation in entrepreneurship. Like when you decided to become a business, not just something you were doing as a single agent, but when you decided to grow into business, there was this period of experimentation. And in many cases, people don't want to go through that. They don't like, what, I can't take, what if happens if I can't, if we don't make, payroll this week, or, can I really afford at this stage of my business to take time and try to figure out how to train this person? And then once I delegate this responsibility, and that person can't do it. Now, oh God, I got to do it again. I got to do all that. And that experimentation is a part of growth, right? Like if you think about it, as a child, when we were growing from a baby and we started to learn how to walk, we didn't just like, hey, watch this and just take off on one blow. Like it took time. And even after you take first steps, you still fall again.
right.
Right. It's
Yeah,
never
getting
perfect
back
process.
up. Yeah. The kid
Yeah,
doesn't say, oh, I'm not going to get back up and try again. So,
exactly. And that is so super important because a lot of the times when people are stuck in their head is for two reasons. Number one, but what if I fail? Or what if I fail again?
then you
Right.
learn from each failure.
Exactly. And that is what's so critically important to understand is the dynamic that if you fall, the one thing you got to remember is to keep getting back up. It is super important. Two things I got there, but that was one. The other part of it is make your move before you're ready. Like
Yes.
you didn't say, oh, well, I know how to do this now. I'm gonna wait till I learn how to train this assistant, and then maybe I'll do that, or maybe I'll get another skill before I decide to take on somebody. Like it was imperfect, it was messy, for a while, so it seems, and it's just like it's like, I got this analogy of a baby trying to eat, and it's like they want to do it on their own, but they just make a mess and stuff is all over the place. But it's a process that gets better. And that is entrepreneurship defined, is it?
Yes, nothing is perfect. Entrepreneurship and success is messy. It is. And, they say this is the way to success, but this was your journey.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's very correct. And you just, every morning you have to wake up with a clean slate. And
True indeed.
mindset is number one. So it wasn't until I started working on my mindset every morning that things started happening.
Huge. When we come and talk more about that dynamic of it. Hey, listen, can't get enough of Yes Go. Make sure you go and check us out. Go and join us on our Facebook group at Yes Go on Facebook, or go to yesgo.live and make sure you catch out all the interviews that we replay there on video. We'll be right back in just a moment.
Some water.
Hello, and welcome back to Yes Go with Coach A.M. Williams. And I have with me go-to expert, real estate expert, Alyson Silverman. And we are having an amazing discussion about success being messy. Is just, honestly, like, that's one of the most profound statements I've had from a guest, because it describes success perfectly. The journey is messy. The road to get there is just messy. It's just really messy. And we were just talking, even in the break, about the importance of mindset and understanding that. And Alyson, take a moment and share with us what you have hindsight and how, it's 2020. It's always clearer after the fact. But having gone through that and understanding that, what role have you found mindset to play in this journey that you've had in real estate?
Mindset is the most critical, most important thing to keep up with. I mean, daily, every morning. I don't know if your viewers have read The Miracle Morning. There's a success routine there. And once I read that book, I mean, sometimes I'm traveling and I can't do my daily routine, and then I'm off for the day. I'm just a little, I'm not where I need to be. But I work on my mindset every day. You've got to do some gratitude exercises. You've got to write down your affirmations or listen to affirmations. And you have to really believe that you're successful and that you're going to do this. If you don't believe it, it's not going to happen. So I teach.
It's powerful.
It's the most important thing you do. In anything, if you break your leg and you need to heal it, your mind will heal that. Your mind is the most powerful thing you have. And, whether it's your body or your business or your happiness, you have a choice to wake up happy every morning or, angry. And I choose to wake up happy. And, and life is so much better because I make that choice every morning, no matter what's happening.
You make an interesting observation there. And I think the thing that, I want to go back to this dynamic of belief. I've heard it said, it was late Dr. Miles Monroe who said that belief is the strongest force on the planet. And we really underestimate the power of belief, especially when it comes to very simple things. Like, people may know that something may not be of any harm to them, but if a person believes that it is harmful, there's nothing you can do. Like, it's that powerful, even though it may seem to be so simple to someone else. Like, I can tell you one of the things that was mind blowing to me is just um, people who are scared of clowns. You know, like when
Yeah.
I grew up and watching people being afraid of clowns, it just like used to blow my mind. Like, why are you afraid of clowns? But we don't know the experience that they had. And then they went on and made movies about clowns and, you know, horror flicks and all that. So like I would get it now if that was your first experience to it was this horror flick. But you know, the way I experienced it was something totally different. But you know what? Somebody else feels that way about snakes. You know, like I just can't. I don't even want to, you know, forget it. The only good snake is a dead one. But some people like, oh no, there's no harm with that. Oh, it's just great. And so when you talk about belief, it's the same thing. Like what you may think is like, oh man, this is great. You see something going down or whatever, and you're like, oh, this is perfect. And they're like, you got to be out of your mind. Do you see what's happening? Do you it's a totally different animal when it comes to understanding the role that belief plays in something. And people, I mean, they have their own beliefs for their own reasons. No matter how crazy, you know, we might think someone else's belief is, but people have reasons why they, you know, they're just completely terrified, you know, of moving forward in a particular thing. And I'm just like it's amazing. I got multiple stories running through my head right now about that. But what have you seen be one of the most interesting stories concerning belief in your field, whether it been with an agent or a buyer, that was literally how their belief was causing them to get in their own way with the process?
Yeah, I see it all the time. You know, first-time home buyers, they don't think that they can pre-qualify for a home. You know, they haven't actually talked to a lender, and so they think they're going to be renting forever or living with their parents. And once we get them with our lender, you know, we can show them, even if they don't have a huge down payment, there's down payment assistance programs from the government. So we've gotten several first-time home buyers into a home when they didn't think they were going to qualify in an affordable payment. We're not going to put someone in something and have them foreclosed on later on. So, you know, I see it all the time, and they don't believe that they could do it, and we show them that they can.
It is so remarkable, and especially something with buying a home, you know, that belief, wherever it stems from, once you're able to create that experience for them and they see that then it turned into like, what did they see when they realized that they did get approved?
Yeah. And then when
they respond to that.
Yeah, it's really nice. We've been to several housewarming parties for people that didn't think they could get in, and they, you know, tell their whole family how grateful they are to us. So that's really a delight for us.
That is huge.
Yeah.
That is it. And as someone who does it as much as you guys do, like you guys are a top producer firm, so this is something you do all the time. I have to ask you, does it ever get old? Does it ever get monotonous? Does it ever be like, okay, you know what, it's the same thing over and over and over again? How does it, you know, I kind of got an idea already, but I want to hear it from you.
Well, number one, real estate is never Groundhog Day. It's always different. So it doesn't get old. It doesn't get boring. I would say sometimes it gets stressful because we do have our hearts in what we do. And when the client stresses, we stress. So we try to alleviate that as much as we can. It never gets old seeing, you know, I had a friend list with me a few months ago, and he from college, and he had been listed for over 100 days with someone else, and we sold his house in 8 days. And he said he's never seen someone put his needs before their commission, and that was really exciting to help him. and that happens all day long. I mean, and again, there are stressful moments, in some escrows, that whether or not we're on the buy or sell side, sometimes a random lender comes in and can't perform. So we have to, midway through, we have to throw in our lender to save the day. And, and everyone gets a little stressed about it. But, and we had an appraisal issue a couple of years ago, and, one of the big banks didn't appraise, and we didn't understand why. So we asked them to do a second appraisal, and they still wouldn't come up, and we wrote huge letters to make it happen, and we had to bring in a new lender because that made it happen. And we shouldn't have an appraisal issue in this market. So, when there's a will, there's a way. And so it never gets old. And that one client was very grateful that we made, they moved up from a smaller home into a bigger home because their family's growing. So they're happy. And, we touch base, we connect with her twice a year, at least, for dinners. We really enjoy making it happen when it doesn't look like it's going to. I think that's what pulls us through.
That's all. We're going to take a break, Alyson. We'll be right back. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Yes Go. I'm your host, Coach A.M. Williams, and I am here with go-to real estate expert, Alyson Silverman. Alyson, you really done a great job in just explaining just the dynamic of not just saying our heart is behind the deal, but really demonstrating story after story, example after example of what you guys have done to help the individual in their process. And you even talked about the follow-up and, things that you do with your clients. I want to take a moment and now you talk to us about making the leap, what that Yes Go moment was like. We want to take a moment and talk about what's on the other side of Yes Go. Having made the leap, having done what you've done, now tell us about, as a result of doing those things, what success you guys have been able to experience, what like on the other side of Yes Go. Well,
now I'm able to take vacations, and the leads still come in when I'm on vacation, and I, assign them out to the agent that's on call. So I was just in New Orleans for 4 days, and we got 4 leads in, and so it's a lot different lifestyle now. I enjoy a lot more time off. Sometimes I still work a 7-day week, but my goal is to have a day off and focus on some self-care more than I used to. We're winning a lot of awards. We're all starting to really enjoy life a lot more. And, the harder we work, the luckier we get. So, and the more we're growing, and we are hiring. So if anyone's interested in a career in real estate, even in a different state than California, I can help them with that. So
now that is huge. And the thing that really stands out to me is like the transition from being a single agent to now having a real estate business gives you the ability to even go away, and while you're away, you're able to assign those 2 agents that are still working for individuals who are single agents and questioning, oh no, and they're telling themselves, oh, it's just a big headache and I don't want to deal with it and all of that kind of stuff. They don't really understand the freedom that's attached to having a business. And what would you say to that individual
that is getting into real estate?
That's literally, saying or trying to talk themselves out of going into a, they have thoughts about creating a multi-agent business, but when they see other things around, or they're questioning whether it's possible or not, and then they're just trying to tell themselves, oh no, it's just more headache than what it's worth, and they're working 23 and a half hours in a 24-hour day and all of that. And what would you say to that individual?
I'd say you have to put your heart into your team and treat them like family. And Stephanie and Josh, the two agents that are on my team, are my family. I spend a lot of time with them, a lot of time on the phone with them. Josh, I've known since before he was born. He's my best friend's son. Amanda, our part-time assistant, is family. She has keys to my house. You know, she takes care of my dog when I'm away. They are my family. Hiring talent is key to everyone's success. That's probably the number one hardest thing to do. And there's going to be trial and error. You're going to make mistakes on hiring, and just keep going. You know, be like Dory the fish, just keep swimming, keep moving forward. Just focus, visualize where you want to be and make it happen. And
that is huge. That is a huge lesson. And I surmise much of that also speaks to the dynamic of someone who is contemplating starting a real estate career.
Yes. I mean, again, it's like any business. You have to know your profit and loss. You have to know your numbers. You know, get an S Corp going, a great CPA. I mean, there's a lot of smaller things to do, but your team and who you hire and who you, even not your team, even the people you surround yourself with is key to your success. So if you hang out in a tattoo parlor all day, you're going to get it. You're going to be covered in tattoos eventually. So and right or wrong, that's what's going to happen. So you need to watch who you hang out with. If I want to be an entrepreneur and a successful millionaire, I'm going to hang out with successful entrepreneurs and successful millionaires. And I'm in several mindset groups and several coaching groups that I do surround myself with, you know, the people that I want to emulate.
That is super important. Can't stress that enough. Thank you so much for highlighting that and emphasizing that. Alyson, it's been a pleasure having you here with us on the show. And we have something very special for you all who are members of our YesGo group. So make sure that you head over to our Facebook group, and after the show, we have something very special with you. If you're not a member of the group, what are you waiting on? Just say yes. Go over to the group, join the group, and catch some of these extra goodies, because Alyson has something that she's going to do just for our members, a special training. You're dealing with someone who is the go-to expert in this field, and she's about to share some super tips and treasures about in the business of real estate and in the business of life. So make sure that you head right on over there and check this out. Alyson, it's been a pleasure to have you here with us on YesGo, and we would hope that you would come back and spend time with us again in the future and keep us updated on what you're doing. I would love
to. And thank you so much for having me on. This was really fun.
It's fun for us too. Again, tuning us with YesGo. It's been a pleasure being here today. Alyson and I, we love being able to share information that enriches your life. Make sure that you join us next week for another exciting show with another exciting entrepreneur sharing their stories to help you to get to where you go. This is Coach A signing off. God bless and have a great day.